At the dentist, we harp a lot on flossing. We know people get tired of hearing, oh, you should floss more, you should floss more, you should floss more. But the truth is, it really is the most important thing for your teeth. Brushing covers the sides of your teeth and the biting surfaces of your teeth, but so does your tongue, your cheeks. When you're eating food, those areas get at least contacted by something throughout the day. Between your teeth, where they butt up next to each other and touch, nothing can get in there except for some form of flossing, but bacteria sitting there all day long. And that's where we see most of the cavities with adults. So when I'm telling people you need to floss, there really is a point to it, but there's also a lot of products to use. And that's where people can get kind of overwhelmed with the different things that they could use. So I'm gonna run through, I grabbed some of the different ones we had around the office. I was surprised how many different options we had in the office, and I can show you kind of what works for different areas and what they're designed for. I'll start with just basic floss. This is your standard rollout. I've got it in a bigger tube here, but what everybody would have at home. I usually say use about an arm's length, so mid-chest to the end of your arm. Cut it off, wrap it on your middle fingers. I think this is the most important thing. People tend to want to wrap it on their pointer fingers, but then you gotta get all of your finger into your mouth. If you wrap it on your middle fingers, you can then control it with the very tips of your thumbs, tips of your pointer fingers. It makes it a lot easier to manipulate, and you don't have to get as much of your hand in your mouth. So wrap it on your middle fingers, control it with your thumb and pointer finger, and then just roll to a clean piece every few teeth whenever it's dirty. So standard floss, in, kind of hug to one side, hug to the other side, and out. That's all there is to it. The next thing, kind of still using regular floss, is for people who have something called a bridge, or they might have braces on their teeth. So this is an example of a bridge. It's 3 teeth that are actually connected. So with the regular floss, I can't floss between these teeth. I can floss on either side, goes down fine there, goes down fine there, but these are actually connected. So to get under that one in the middle, food and things can still get stuck in there over time. So this is called a bridge threader. You take your regular floss, you put it on there. It's like a little plastic needle, but it's not sharp. And then once the floss is on there, then I can thread that under, pull it through, and still floss. This is probably the least efficient way to do that. There's other tools if you've got a bridge. Something else you might use is, these are pixters. They also can be called proxy brushes or proximal brushes. It's essentially a pipe cleaner on a handle. And you can use that to run between those gaps in the bridge and clean the food out. Now, depending on how tight your bridge is, some of these could be a little bit too snug, but that's a great option. It's called super floss. So it looks like regular floss, except the tip of it, it's got kind of a swagged plastic end onto it, and then it's got a really puffy, thicker, cottony part. And that same concept, you thread that plastic part underneath, and then the thick cottony part does a really good job of cleaning any debris out because it's wider than the standard floss. So super floss, bridge threader, or the pixter are all great for getting under a bridge. Now, if somebody has braces, I don't have a model with braces on it, but the best thing for that are these platypus flossers. So they're designed for around braces. Kids have a hard time threading the floss underneath the wire. With this really skinny part will actually fit between the metal wire and the tooth. So you just come down. If you imagine there's metal wires across the front here, I come in, this little skinny part would fit behind the wire but in front of the tooth, and I could just go tooth by tooth by tooth and work my way around. And then the other end has one of those little proxy brushes on it where you could run it between the teeth. So if anybody has traditional braces, the platypus flossers are my favorite option. And then the last option is just your standard little floss handles. And you'd see these at any drugstore, pharmacy, Target, Walmart. There are 2 types of these. So with these, the handle kind of comes out and runs parallel to the floss string. This actually is not my favorite style. It's shaped just like the platypus flosser. It's great for front teeth, but when you get around to the side, the handle is where your cheek needs to be. They also make ones where the handle is bent this direction, so your floss is running that direction and then your handle comes off perpendicular to the floss. That style I prefer because you can get all the back teeth easily, and then front teeth are straightforward to get no matter what. So regular floss, floss handles, platypus flossers, interproximal brushes, floss threaders, and then the last option is a water pick. So with a water pick, it's going to be similar in concept to what we've got here at the office, but you've got a thin, high-powered stream of water that's going to come out of a small tip. You direct it down between the teeth into the gum line, and you just shoot a burst of water into each of these little gaps. Now, the first time you do this, it's going to make a huge mess. You're going to have water everywhere, so just practice and get used to it, but a water pick can also be a great tool. So lots of options, lots of different ways to do it. As long as you're getting something between the teeth to clean everything out, you're going to be in great shape.